asked you what the most important skill a photographer can have is, what would you say? Maybe you'd say something like a deep understanding of light or a really strong eye for composition. And you'd be right, those are incredibly important skills for a photographer. But there is one skill that I think every great photographer possesses, and that is versatility. Another thing I like to call this is being multifaceted. Let me explain. A multifaceted photographer is a photographer who can effectively shoot across a wide range of photography styles or environments or situations. They know how to work with all different types of light. They can recognize patterns in compositions that a lot of other people might miss. And they have the ability to shoot great photos almost anywhere, regardless of the conditions. And because of this, multifaceted photographers often have a portfolio that spans a wide range of subject matter. You'll see things like portraits, landscapes, street photography, still life, but all of those images still fit into a cohesive photography style. Now, this is definitely not easy to achieve, but becoming a multifaceted photographer can really take your work to the next level and set you free creatively. So I have come to this epic, albeit a little bit rainy city of Hong Kong today to talk about how you guys can become a multifaceted photographer as well. We're going to cover a few tips on how I think you can do that. But first, I need to get out of this rain. Now, you guys might recognize this place behind me. This is a pretty iconic location. This is the Chung Hoi Estate here in Hong Kong. It's iconic for a reason. This place is actually pretty sick. I've never been here before. The colors with the building in the background, it's just so iconic, Hong Kong. But I thought this would be a good opportunity to talk about the first tip on how to become a multifaceted photographer. And honestly, I think this is probably the most important tip that you can follow. And that is to shoot a little bit of everything. Now, I'm not saying you need to just go out and shoot a bunch of random stuff that you're not interested in shooting in. For most of us, this actually happens pretty naturally throughout the course of our photography careers. For example, when I first started out with photography, I was absolutely obsessed with still life photography. I was shooting all these photos of coffee, interiors, and really just trying to capture this kind of moody coffee shop vibe. That was my style earlier on because that is what I wanted to shoot. And then it transitioned over to travel photography, and then it was really focused on landscape photography. I had a stint where I was really obsessed with portraits. And during these micro obsessions with these specific styles of photography, I got really good at that one specific style of photography. So then when I did move on to another style, I could transfer over those skills. And that helped me more than anything else become a multifaceted photographer. So I think the key takeaway here is if you want to go out and shoot portraits, go out and shoot portraits. If you want to shoot landscapes, shoot landscapes. You don't need to pigeonhole yourself into shooting one specific thing, especially early on in your photography career. If you want to pivot and shoot something else that's outside of your expertise, I think that's actually the best thing that you can possibly do to becoming a more skilled photographer, because it kind of restarts you in a way from the ground up where you have to learn everything all over again, but you do have those skills kind of transferring over as well. But this is the thing that really helped me become a multifaceted photographer, probably more than anything else on this list. But there are still a few super important tips that I want to cover in this video, and we're going to talk about those soon. Well, I'll tell you guys one thing. It is so nice to sit down. Last time I was in Hong Kong was 10 years ago. So I was 24 years old and I just didn't get tired. But now that I'm in my 30s, it's starting to get to me. All these steps, all the heat, I'm starting to get a little bit tired, even though it's not even that hot because we haven't had any sun. And speaking of the lack of sun, that leads me onto the second tip of this video, and that is to shoot in all different types of light. I think when we first started out with photography, we learned that the best time to shoot is at sunrise and sunset. And yep, those are absolutely amazing times to take photos. But you need to learn how to shoot in all different types of light, because one of the things you'll notice that all multifaceted photographers have is the ability to walk into any lighting scenario and capture something sick. So shooting at sunrise and sunset is incredibly important, but you also need to learn how to shoot in harsh midday light. You need to learn how to deal with those hard shadows that are going to be cutting through your composition. You need to be able to shoot in overcast weather as well and learn how to work with color in those scenarios to really make those photos still pop. And even shooting at night night can teach us so much about light and how light interacts with the environment and reflections. And this is a skill set that's really important for us to build as photographers. Now, I've actually been shooting a lot at night here in Hong Kong because I think this city really comes alive at night. And it's also a great way to escape these overcast days. You still can get really good conditions while shooting at night. But before I came on this trip, I watched a Skillshare class by Benjamin Dizderovic that does a really solid overview of cinematic night street photography, and that has been incredibly helpful for me on this trip because it gave me a really solid foundation on what to look for when shooting at night in a city like this. And speaking of Skillshare, Skillshare is actually the sponsor of today's video. Now, I'm sure you guys have heard of Skillshare before because they are absolute legends in the online teaching community. But if you haven't, Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives with a massive range of topics ranging from illustration, graphic design, music, marketing, productivity, and of course, photography. And all of these classes are hands-on and practical classes taught by real, super talented creators. Even though I've been taking photos for already a decade by this point, I still watch classes on Skillshare every year just to touch up on my skills and learn something new from another photographer. But I also use Skillshare to learn new skills as well. And I recently took this class on bullet journaling by Rich Armstrong. And this class has really helped me organize my life better and also helped me plan out this trip to Hong Kong. But besides learning, I also teach on Skillshare as well. And I have 19 different photography classes that you guys can go check out, including my latest one, which is focused on how to find your unique photography style. So if you guys want to try out Skillshare, the first 500 people to click the first link in the description or to scan this QR code here will get 1 free month to Skillshare. Thank you so much, Skillshare, for sponsoring this video and supporting the channel. I hope to see you guys in one of my classes. Now let's get back to shooting Hong Kong. Now, you would think that after having lived in Southeast Asia for 10 years by this point, my stomach would be used to the food. It's not. And about an hour after I shot those night photos, I came down with horrible food poisoning, and that's exactly why I'm sitting and talking to you here in my studio and not back in Hong Kong. Now, I did shoot some more photos, but there was no chance in hell I was going to film a video. I felt terrible for about 3 days, and I just couldn't swing it. But there are still a few things that I really want to discuss when it comes to becoming a multifaceted photographer. And the first one is to stop relying on your photography crutches. What do I mean by that? A photography crutch is a habit that we develop in our shooting that we kind of rely on and we always fall back upon when we're not sure what to do next. Now, this isn't always a bad thing because sometimes you do need to rely on those crutches to capture something cool in any given scenario. But when you're constantly relying on them all the time, all of your work starts to look the same. A good example of this, and I see so many beginner photographers doing this, and I did this myself for years as well, so I'm not excusing myself here, but it's shooting everything with a very shallow depth of field. Now, most often this happens because we pick up our very first 50mm f1.8 and all we want to do is go outside and capture photos with a ton of bokeh. But when you do it every single time, it kind of becomes a crutch and it prevents you from thinking outside the box and trying something different. A shallow depth of field isn't the only photography crutch you can have. Maybe it's having symmetry in every one of your shots, or maybe it's shooting every single photo at eye level. Or maybe it's only shooting in really dramatic light at sunset. It could be a million different things. The moment you start relying a little bit too much on your crutches is the moment you start to leave creativity on the table. And I think it's really important for us to kind of force ourselves to be creative and think outside the box. And one of the ways that I like to do that is by following the next tip on this list, which is to shoot in sets. And what I mean by shooting in sets is every time you approach a scene, you're going into that scene looking to shoot at least 4 photos. Those photos are a wide shot that shows the scene and kind of establishes that setting, a mid-ground shot where you're getting a little bit closer and maybe you're focusing on one specific element from that larger scene, a tight shot where we're really starting to focus in on some of the details of that scene, and last but certainly not least is an abstract or a texture shot. When we shoot in sets like this, we can almost guarantee that we're going to be walking away from that scene with a diverse amount of images. A good example of this is this little scene that I stumbled across in Hong Kong when I was shooting at night. And I shot my first photo, a wide photo, and I like it. It kind of sets the scene. So then I moved a little bit closer and I shot a mid-range shot of the same man. And I really liked how this image came out. And for the detailed shot, I turned around and there was a taxi parked right in front of me. So I shot a close-up photo of the little taxi light on top of the taxi. At one point, there was also a bus driving by, and I shot this super, super cool portrait of this guy in the bus. And then we also have a reflection of the lights in the back hitting the glass. And this is probably one of my favorite photos from the trip. And by the way, all of these images from this set were edited with my classic Fujifilm preset from my Film Vibes preset pack. I'll put a link down in the description. You guys can check that out. And lastly, for the abstract or texture shot, across the street, there was all these crazy lights going on and it looked super, super cool. So I experimented with using a slow shutter speed, but also tracking at the same time. So I used a shutter speed of 1/2 a second, which is really slow for a handheld photo. And then I kind of tracked this guy that was walking across the street, and I got this image where the man is a little bit in focus, not really, but a little bit. And then the rest of the scene is really nice and blurry and kind of abstract. I think having a super creative photo like this can add so much to a collection of images, and it ultimately tells a much deeper and more interesting story about the thing that you're photographing. And this is just one example of shooting in sets. I'm almost always thinking like this every time I go out and shoot. Even when I'm shooting something like a landscape, for example, I'll try to capture a diverse amount of images by shooting in sets. And it doesn't have to be just for photos. You can add more categories as well. You can add a category for light, and you can capture a photo that really focuses in on capturing the light of that scene. Or maybe it's shooting one photo that you're gonna edit to be black and white later on. It could be anything. So next time you're out shooting and you find yourself doing the exact same things that you're always doing, try to think outside the box a little bit and capture a diverse amount of photos in that scene. Now, last but certainly not least is to be curious and never stop experimenting with different styles or different techniques when it comes to photography. One of the character traits that I notice in pretty much every single photographer who I would consider to be multifaceted is curiosity. They are constantly curious about how photography works, and even though they know so much, they're still out there experimenting with new techniques, trying new things, and just approaching photography like they did when they first started out. I think it's really important to never let go of that growth mindset that you had when you first started photography, and to always continue to try new things and experiment with new techniques. Because every time you do that, you learn something new and you expand your skill set as a photographer, which ultimately is going to lead you to becoming a multifaceted photographer in time. I know this last one might sound simple, but it's true that the more we grow as a photographer, the more we kind of start to get set in our ways and we're less likely to try new things. But the truth is, trying new things is the best way that we can continue to grow and get better as photographers. This is something I've been trying to embody a lot more recently, specifically with shooting using slower shutter speeds. Like a lot of the images that I shot in Hong Kong, I was trying out new techniques for the first time, and I'm really happy with how some of these images came out. And now when I go on my next trip, I know that I have this skill set in my toolkit that I can pull upon on future trips. But these are just some of the main tips that I think you can follow to become a more multifaceted photographer in time. And I'm sure that I missed something. So if you guys think I missed anything crucial, drop a comment down below and let me know. But I really do think being a multifaceted photographer is the ultimate flex. Being able to go out and shoot anywhere and capture something cool and still have it fit into this cohesive portfolio that you've put together is a spot that so many photographers want to reach over time. And I think if you follow these tips, you will make it there eventually. But with that said, that is all for this one, guys. And I'm sorry that I couldn't finish this video in Hong Kong. I really wanted to, because I like making videos where I'm actually shooting out in the field, but I tried my hardest and I just couldn't do it. I was absolutely wrecked for a few days. But I still hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do want to see some more practical photography videos, I have a ton here on the channel. Here is one that I shot in Bangkok. I shot some amazing photos out there. One of my favorite trips to Bangkok. And I have a bunch of others here on the channel as well. So just browse freely, and I hope you guys find something that you enjoy. But with that said, that is all for this one, guys. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. And also thank you so much, Skillshare, for sponsoring this video and supporting the channel. I will catch you guys very soon in the next one.